Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, let's make a comparison between 2021 Trek Emonda SL6 and 2021 Trek Emonda SLR6. You can think about this comparison as a cheap versus expensive bike comparison. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon because it's gonna help in growing the channel. Of course, if you are already a subscriber, then definitely thank you. So, as I was saying, 2021 Trek Emonda SL6 versus Trek Emonda SLR6. So let's kick off immediately with the retail price for these bikes. So the SL6 model, or as I could call it, the cheap model, has a retail price of $3,800. On the other hand, the SLR6 model has the retail price of $6,700. So I mean, make no mistake, both of these prices are on the higher side, so they are definitely not cheap bikes. I will be talking about the retail prices here because I think it's fair to compare these two bikes on the retail prices, but of course, you know my opinion. You gotta go to your local Trek bike dealer. You gotta be nice, you gotta negotiate nicely, and definitely aim for the discount of about 15%, which should be totally possible. So, retail prices in this case, and we will go through many other categories for these two bikes, and at the end I will let you know my personal preference and what I would personally do. So you see, between these two bikes, there is about $3,000 of price difference. It's a huge price difference, but we will see what do you get for your hard-earned money. Now let's answer the question, who is this bike for? Trek Emonda platform. So Trek Emonda platform is all about lightest, stiffest climbing machines. So for example, if you like, spending your days attacking some steep mountains, you will definitely love these Trek Emonda bikes. And if you are in the market for this kind of light and stiff climbing machine, then definitely have a look at the Trek Emonda platform. Now we can have a brief look at the paint scheme of these two bikes. So the SL6 version basically only has one paint scheme on offer, and this is this very classical grey chrome paint scheme. Not my cup of tea, to be honest. It's kind of nothing special, but when you move to the expensive bike, so SLR6 model, you're gonna have three paint schemes on offer, which is absolutely brilliant because yes, this is a $6,700 retail price. So there is this beautiful, as they would call it, navy carbon smoke and viper red, beautiful paint scheme. On the other hand, they also have this beautiful one which is navy carbon smoke with blue, and then this very classic black on black or gray on black, which again not my cup of tea, so I would stick with one of these blue and red or blue and white paint schemes. But it's great that the Trek is offering three paint schemes on this expensive bike. Unfortunately, on the cheap bike there is only one paint scheme to choose from. Now let's dive in a bit more into the technical specification of these two bikes and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. I'm sorry. We can kick off with the frame and the fork on these two bikes. So you see, when we look at the Trek Emonda SL6, you are getting a carbon fiber OCLV frame. This is a 500 series OCLV carbon fiber frame, internal cable routing, flat mount disc brakes, and also 12mm through axles front and the back. Speaking about the fork on this bike, it's gonna be the SL full carbon fiber fork with the tapered carbon steerer, and again flat mount disc brakes, as I said, 12mm through axle at the front. On the other hand, when you move to the expensive SLR6 model, you are getting creme de la creme, top of the line, 800 series OCLV carbon fiber frame. So this is the best stuff that Trek can do on the Emonda bike range. So creme de la creme carbon fiber frame, again internal cable routing, flat mount disc brakes, 12mm through axle at the back and also 12mm through axle at the front. Fork is also an SLR full carbon fiber fork with the tapered carbon steerer and flat mount disc brakes. So as you see on the more expensive bike, of course you are getting the creme de la creme carbon fiber frame from Trek. But make no mistake, both of these carbon fiber frames, so 500 OCLV series carbon and 800 series carbon, are both covered with the lifetime warranty from Trek, and also these carbon fiber forks, both of them are covered with the lifetime warranty from Trek, which is absolutely brilliant, so no cutting corners here. Now let's talk about the wheels and the tires on these two bikes, and we will kick off with the cheaper version, which is the SL6 Emonda. So on the SL6 Emonda you are getting a Bontrager Paradigm disc tubeless ready wheel set. This is a pretty classical aluminium wheel set, nothing special to mention here. 20mm rim width, of course 12mm through axles, both front and the back. And the only thing I can mention here is that when it comes to the inner rim width, is going to be 19.5mm. It's a 3-pole hub system. I don't know whose hubs are these. Is it some kind of Trek's own production? And the interesting thing is, when you look at the total weight of this wheel set, the front wheel is going to be 782 grams and the rear wheel exactly 1000 grams. So you have 1782 grams for this aluminium wheel set. Nothing special in my opinion. As I said, 12mm through axles front and the back, and this wheel set is wrapped in the Bontrager R2 hardcase tire. This is a 60 TPI treads per inch tire, and this is a 28C tire, which is absolutely great because they have managed to include a tire which has a big air volume, so the ride is going to be much smoother. On the other hand, when we look at the expensive bike, SLR6, the wheel set is of course much more advanced. So here we are speaking about the carbon fiber wheel set, and it's going to be the Bontrager Aeolus Pro 37 carbon fiber wheel set. So if we briefly look at some specifications of this wheel set, you will see that, as I said, OCLV carbon fiber wheel set, 37mm rim height, tubeless ready, and 21mm inner rim width. This wheel set comes with DT Swiss Aerolite spokes and DT Swiss nipples, 24 back, 24 in the front, absolutely superb. And also this wheel set comes with the DT Swiss 350 hubs, again absolutely superb, 12mm through axles front and the back. And when we speak about the total weight of this wheel set, you can briefly see that the front wheel is 685 grams and the rear wheel 820 grams, so we are speaking approximately about 1700 grams for this carbon fiber wheel set. It is a very good carbon fiber wheel set, nothing special in the weight department, but I'm glad that they have included DT Swiss 350 hubs on this wheel set. So absolutely you see that on this more expensive bike the wheel set is definitely an upgrade from the very simple aluminium wheel set on the SL6 model. Also, the more expensive bike has a Bontrager R3 hard case tire, and this tire is with the 120 TPI treads per inch, so much more quality tire. And interestingly, this tire is a 25C tire. So you see, the more expensive bike comes with a 25C tire, and personally I think they should have included a 28C tire, 28mm tire also on this bike, because you see, wider tires will always give you more air volume, and ultimately the ride is going to be much smoother. But again, this is something in the future that you can easily replace if you want. And of course, this carbon fiber wheel set is tubeless ready, and it's gonna come prepared directly, out of the box with this bike. Now let's talk about the drivetrain of these two bikes, and we will kick off with the cheaper bike. So when you look at the shifters, front mech and the rear mech on the Trek Emonda SL6, you are getting a superb Shimano Ultegra Groupset. So we are speaking about Shimano Ultegra R8000 series. So this is a mechanical 11-speed Shimano Ultegra Groupset. So everything from the shifters, front mech and the rear mech. Superb choice, and just keep in mind that the rear mech here is gonna be the short cage, which means that the maximum cassette you can fit on that is gonna be a 30-tooth cassette. Now let's jump to the more expensive bike, SLR6, and here when we are speaking about the group set, again, shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano's Ultegra R8000 mechanical group set, 11-speed group set, superb choice, and again on the rear mech you are having the short cage rear mech, so the maximum cassette you can fit there is going to be a 30-tooth cassette. So both group sets on both bikes, absolutely the same group set, mechanical Shimano Ultegra group set, superb choice, I mean absolutely no complaints here. When we speak about the crankset on these bikes, on the SL6 model, the cheaper bike, you will have a superb Shimano Ultegra R8000 crankset, and this is a 5236 crankset, which is paired with the Praxis T47 threaded bottom bracket. Great bottom bracket for any home mechanic or a professional mechanic. It's going to be easy to service, and of course it's paired with the Shimano's Ultegra R8000 cassette, 1130 cassette, and the chain is the Shimano's Ultegra HG701 chain, 11-speed chain. So absolutely no cutting corners when it comes to the cassette and the chain. Both of them are Ultegra level, and again crankset Ultegra level. Moving on to the most expensive bike, so the Emonda SLR6, crankset is again Shimano's Ultegra R8000, 5236 chain rings, and paired with the, again, bottom bracket from Praxis T47 threaded bottom bracket, the same thing as on the cheaper bike, and again the cassette and the chain on the more expensive bike, Shimano Ultegra level, so Shimano Ultegra cassette, 1130 cassette, paired with the Shimano Ultegra HG701 chain, which is again Shimano Ultegra chain. Absolutely superb choice on both bikes, and it's the same group set when it comes to, of course, chain, cassette, and also including the bottom bracket and the crankset. Superb choice, Shimano Ultegra level equipment, no cutting corners. Now we can speak a little bit about some smaller components on these two bikes, like the saddle, seat post, handlebars and the stem. On the cheaper bike, on the SL6 model, the saddle is the Bontrager Aeolus Comp saddle with the steel rails. But on the more expensive bike, you are moving to the Bontrager Aeolus Elite saddle. Since saddles are a personal preference, I wouldn't be so much bothered with these two saddles. If you like them, you like them. If not, please find your preferred saddle that you truly like and keep it as long as possible. Seat post on both bikes is a Bontrager carbon fiber seat mast cap. This is something that Trek has been doing for a long time. Again, I'm glad that this carbon fiber seat mast cap is included on both bikes. It will definitely absorb some of the smaller road bumps, so that's absolutely superb. Now when we look at the handlebar and the stem on the cheaper bike, you are getting a Bontrager Elite handlebars. These are aluminum handlebars, classical aluminum handlebars, nothing special here. And also the stem is the Bontrager Pro stem, again classical aluminum stem. The thing that I like here is that the stem and the handlebars are a separate piece, so you can easily swap these parts if you want in the future. You can easily tune and adjust your position, so this is absolutely perfectly fine, and I'm definitely not worried that these are aluminum pieces. On the other hand, when you move to the expensive bike, to the SLR6 Emonda, you are getting an integrated handlebar and stem combo. So this is going to be Bontrager Aeolus RSL carbon fiber stem and handlebar, so this is a one-piece affair. And this is a proprietary, again, design from Trek. It's definitely going to limit your options for fine-tuning the position, and it's definitely going to limit your options for future upgrades, so just keep that in mind. I know that a lot of bike manufacturers are doing this. This is mostly because of the aerodynamic gains, but I still prefer that the handlebars and the stem are separated so you can easily adjust your position. This is a carbon fiber piece, superb carbon fiber piece, but just very limited fine-tuning the position on the bike. Now let's talk about the braking performance on both of these bikes. Kicking off with the cheaper bike, you are getting a superb Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, and these are with the Shimano's RT800 braking rotors, Shimano Ultegra level braking rotors, superb, 160mm braking rotors front and back with the famous Shimano Ice Tech Ice Freezer technology. Absolutely superb, no cutting corners. It is the same thing on the more expensive bike, Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, the same Shimano RT800 rotors, and the same 160mm braking rotors. So both group sets on both bikes, superb choice, Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes. And finally we can talk about the weight of these bikes. And Trek has given the weight for the size 56, so the cheaper bike is 8.25 kilograms and the more expensive bike is 7.26 kilograms. So you see, there is a price difference of about $3,000 and there is also a weight difference of about 1 kilogram between these two bikes. Of course, when you look at this more expensive bike, Emonda SLR 6, which is 7.26 kilograms for the size 56, it's a very good, very light bike. Again, nothing superb, nothing special. Other bike manufacturers can do the similar bike weights, but it's a very, very low bike weight, because you can always think about that the professionals are riding the bikes which are 6.8 kilograms just because of the UCI limits. So this is a very, very light bike. So now, in a summary, you probably want to know what would I do if it's my money on the line. Personally, I would go with the cheaper bike. I would go with the Trek Emonda SL6 disc with a retail price of $3,800, and then I would save a bit more money down the line and upgrade to the carbon fiber wheel set from DT Swiss, because they make a superb carbon fiber wheels, and specifically I would focus on the DT Swiss PRC 1400 spline carbon fiber wheel set. This carbon fiber wheel set has a retail price of $2,480 and the weight of this wheel set is 1,444 grams. It's going to be a bit more. We can call it 1,500 grams, to be honest, with all the tubeless tapes and tubeless valves. And I will just pinpoint some highlights of this wheel set. So, for example, the rear wheel 794 grams, front wheel 650 grams, carbon fiber wheel set, 35mm rim height, 18mm inner rim width, and this wheelset comes with the superb DT Swiss 240 hubs, which are much better hubs than the DT Swiss 350 hubs, 12mm through axles front and the back, tubeless ready, center lock disc, DT Swiss aero spokes, DT Swiss pro nipples, absolutely super wheelset in my opinion. So this is what I would do. Cheaper bike, Trek Emonda SL6 plus DT Swiss PRC 1400 spline wheelset. So I think this is gonna be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you're always notified when I make a new video. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida!